everybody. My name is Leo Schlinger, and today I'd like to talk to you about a very serious problem that the United States is facing. This problem is that people are trying to implement gun control. Here's a statistic for all of you to chew on. First of all the legally owned firearms in the United States, only 1 in 25,000 is used in a crime. 1 in 25,000. Now, people are making a big deal about gun control. Oh, this is going to help so much. But when the statistics are that small of what is actually causing the problem, you need to identify what is wrong. And this statistic was from Cyrus Masumi of Mr. Conservative, an online publication that obviously deals with the Conservative Party. And in saying this, he was referring to a 2011 FBI statistic. 2012 statistics aren't quite out yet. I believe that I'm qualified to speak to you on this topic because I'm a gun owner and enthusiast, and I've done exhaustive research on gun control and followed it thoroughly because that is a big deal to me. I do like to exercise my Second Amendment right. Today I'd like to explain to you why gun control is bad and offer what the problem is, what the causes are, and how we can solve this problem. I'd like to talk to you about how gun control violates our constitutional rights, how it would be dangerous and complicated to enforce, and how it doesn't keep arms from criminals in the end. First of all, I'd like to tackle the problem here. The extent of this problem is that gun control would not be effective because guns are not the problem. Guns do not kill people. People kill people. People are always saying, oh, this gun, if we ban guns, death rate will go down. Well, that's not the case because at the end of the day, criminals will get their hands on a weapon if that is their motive. The harms of this problem are that it violates laws, federal and state laws, that guarantee citizens the right to bear arms, and that it would risk lives in enforcing such a law because law enforcement would have to go out there and deal with people who might not be so willing to give up their guns. And overall, it would be ineffective to try and enforce such a law because it covers a very broad scope, and it's just really hard to regulate who is owning guns and who has guns, given that there's private markets that aren't necessarily black markets, gun shows, stuff like that, family friends, and there's also the public markets, places like Cabela's and other gun shops, and Bass Pro shops.
That's right.
The significance of this problem is that it's a controversial political issue. There's much division between the two parties, and that it's just turning into a nasty debate that really is missing the point of what the problem is. It risks the rights of individuals as guaranteed to us under the U.S. Constitution, and also it risks lives in putting law enforcement on the line in order to carry out enforcing this law. According to Doug Wiley of police1.com, that's a police blog website that law enforcement officers like to go on and just catch up on what all the information is going on in the news. 85% of law enforcement officers do not support a gun ban because they feel that it would be largely ineffective and hard to enforce, as well as the fact that it would jeopardize their lives at their everyday work, because there are some people out there that would definitely shoot before they give up their guns. Next, I'd like to identify the causes of this problem. The biggest cause is a lack of awareness by people. Most of the people who do not support gun rights really don't understand firearms and the culture associated with firearms. They haven't had experience around guns before, and they just feel that guns are the problem. And that, unfortunately, is not. And one such person, this is Dianne Feinstein of California, who is a staunch gun ban supporter. She also happens to be a gun owner too, which is funny because if she wants to control what we have, she's also going to have to control what guns she may or may not own. That sounds hypocritical to me. Also, people who are in support of gun control are relatively clueless to what the problem is, given that statistic I shared with you earlier, that really small, that would be a very, very small percentage of legally owned guns that are used in crimes. So the real problem is that the wrong people are getting guns by the wrong means, and that they're not using them appropriately. Obviously, that guns are being obtained by illegal gun trafficking. According to Robert A. Levy of the Cato Institute, the majority of what kind of weapons are used in violent and nonviolent crimes that do have a weapon involved in this country is the weapon of choice is a handgun, which is funny because Senator Feinstein's gun ban list covered primarily assault rifles as the problem. Another cause of this is a lack of unenforced legislation, given that people are trying to bypass the U.S. Constitution in order to advance their cause, and that they really don't have a place to say with guns, given that they aren't owners or enthusiasts, and that they have no experience with them. They're often uneducated. As you can see, this lady, who is a gun owner, if you notice where her finger is on the weapon, it's on the trigger, and you definitely don't put your finger on the trigger unless you plan to shoot. Also, negligence and apathy are a problem among those who are very staunch supporters of a gun ban. They are ignoring the Constitution, and at the end of the day, it seems like the line is being blurred between finding a solution and just advancing what they consider to be a personal political cause. Next, I'd like to suggest some solutions to this problem. First of all, we need to put an end to any gun legislation that is not effectively tackling the problem here, which is gun trafficking. We need to find the root cause, which is the people. We need to make sure that the wrong people are not getting their hands on guns. Also, I would encourage you to write your state representatives and encourage opposition to gun legislation. Well, to wrap things up, I'd like to say that the best solution for this problem is that we should not implement a gun ban, but instead we should uphold the Constitution and tackle the root problem, which is gun trafficking. We need to make sure that the wrong people are not getting firearms in their hands. And as Robert Heinlein was once quoted as saying, an armed society is a polite society. In saying this, he means that you never know when you might need someone to have your back, and that it is very polite to have someone's back. So I would encourage you not to take away our rights if you wish for us to have your back, given the situation would arise in which you might need it. Thank you very much for your time.